2025 attendance and rating numbers are in, and it's another big win for Major League Baseball. More watching in the stands, more watching from home. Increased for the third straight year. Big gains in ratings, small gains in attendance. Anyone who tells you baseball is dying has either been asleep the last 3 years or just hasn't bothered to keep up with baseball news. Either way, they're not real baseball fans, so their opinion doesn't mean anything. Look at these viewership increases. Fox up 9%, FSI up 10%, MLB Network up 13%, TBS 29%, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball up 21%, NHK in Japan a 20% increase, the most watched season ever. MLB TV saw the biggest gain, a 34% increase, the most watched season ever on MLB TV. Looking at ESPN specifically, viewership up 21% overall from last year, averaging 1.8 million viewers across 30 games aired this season. In the 18 to 49 demo, that was an increase of 14% from 2024. TNT networks and platforms were up 29%, up 74% among 18 to 34-year-olds. That's another argument people try to make, that young people just don't watch baseball these days. Only old people do. The fans are getting old and dying. It's not true at all. They add here on the right, Tuesday regular season coverage was at a 3-year high. Regular season coverage overall at a 14-year high. For 18 to 34-year-old viewers, an 11-year high. All of this is great, of course, but MLB relies more on ticket sales for its revenue than the other major professional sports leagues do. Across 2,430 regular season games, attendance is very important. And unlike with the ratings, the gains in attendance were very small. But with the circumstances this year, a small gain is a big win for Major League Baseball. I'm talking about the Tampa Bay Rays situation. Last year at Tropicana Field, the Rays averaged 16,515 per game. After the season, a hurricane ripped the roof off the Trop, and the Rays had to move to a minor league stadium for 2025. This year, 16,000 was impossible. The capacity of their temporary venue was 10,046, and many times this season we saw the Rays hit that exact number. Not every time, the midsummer heat kept them from selling out every game, but their season-ending figure of 9,713 is pretty close to a whole season of sellouts. So the Rays fans did show up. There just wasn't enough seats for all of them. The Athletics also moved to a smaller capacity minor league park for the 2025 season, but the capacity there was actually larger than their average attendance was in 2024, so an increase was not impossible. Still didn't happen though, they saw a small decrease. The Athletics have had the worst attendance for a few years now, and that's not going to change in the next 2 years. So the overall increase in MLB attendance, despite the Rays losing almost half their usual crowd for reasons beyond their control, is really impressive. The Trop is scheduled to be ready to go for the 2026 season. If they return to their 2024 attendance figures, that would be a 70% increase, and that 2024 average attendance of 16,515 was actually really bad. 18,000 is more of a normal average attendance there. You figure with the fans who usually go out to see them at the Trop, not able to see them play there for a year, they'll be in more of a hurry to get out and see them in 2026. I would expect at least 18,000 average attendance next year, which would be about double what they had this year. Total attendance for 2025 in Major League Baseball was 71,409,421, an increase of 61,016 from last year. That means an average attendance increase of just 25 fans per game. But if we give the Rays their 2024 figures, 1,337,739 total, 16,515 average, this year's total attendance would have been 71,960,410, an increase of 550,989. Average attendance would have been 29,613, an increase of 239. So you can see why this year's small attendance increase of 25 per game and 61,000 total is a reason to be optimistic. Under normal conditions for that one ball club, 25 per game could have easily been more than a 200 per game increase. A gain of 61,000 overall easily could have been a gain of more than 500,000. The Athletics have a situation too, but it's not going to be fixed anytime soon. Low attendance for Athletics games is just something that's going to be an accepted norm for at least 2 more years. Total attendance for the 2025 season, Dodgers led the way at 49,537, so close to that 50,000 mark that no MLB team has seen since 2008, the last year of the old Yankee Stadium. The Dodgers averaged over 50,000 from the start of the season all the way into the second half, but just couldn't keep it over that mark. That is a new Dodgers record for attendance. Padres also set a new attendance record, 42,435 per game. Also over 40,000 were the Yankees and Phillies. For the Phillies, attendance was at a 13-year high. Mets averaged 39,000, a 17-year high for them, the highest attendance since they moved into Citi Field in 2009. Those 5 teams plus the Cubs sold over 3 million tickets. 6 teams in all. Last year there were only 5 to hit 3 million. Dodgers, Phillies, Yankees, Padres, and Braves. Braves fell below the mark this year. Mets and Cubs soared above it. Giants over 36,000 per game. Braves and Blue Jays over 35. Red Sox 34. Astros 33. Brewers and Angels 32. Mariners 31. Altogether 14 teams, almost half, averaged over 30,000. That's down from last year when 16 teams were over 30,000. Teams falling below that level were the Cardinals, Rangers, and Rockies. Mets were the only team under 30,000 last year to rise over 30,000 this year. But several teams were close. Tigers, Rockies, Rangers, and D-backs all averaged over 29. Tigers a 9-year high. D-backs a 17-year high. St. Louis Cardinals, 27,000 per game, a big drop for a team that's normally among the best in attendance. Reds, 26,802, that's a 10-year high for them. Guardians, 25, Nationals, 23, Orioles, 22, Twins and Royals, 21, Pirates, 18, White Sox, 17, Marlins, 14, Rays, as I said before, 9,713, but not the worst. That was the Athletics, 9,487 for the year. Then we look at the change in attendance from last year to this year. Sorry if it's cut off on the screen there a little bit. Mets were the big gainer in attendance with 10,559 per game, more than what they had last year. It should be mentioned that Mets attendance was unusually low last year. Low expectations going into the season, and the Mets were the biggest drag on attendance in the first half of 2024. This year, high expectations, and unfortunately for them, didn't end well. Tigers added nearly 7,000 per game. Easy to see why. Attendance wasn't so great in 2024. Then a late season surge lifted them to the postseason. Too late to have much of an effect on ticket sales. Then they were great for most of this season, just adding to the excitement. Giants were up more than 3,000 per game. Blue Jays added 2,000 per game. You would think more based on the way the team finished, but their attendance was down in the first half of the season. But as the team's record improved, so did the crowd size. Reds up 1,800, Red Sox 1,400. Brewers just shy of a 1,400 per game increase. Just like the Jays, they were down for the first half. Then, as the wins piled up, the fans started piling in. Cubs and Padres up 1,300, Royals up 1,100. Yankees added 1,000. Dodgers, Marlins, and White Sox gained over 800 per game. Yes, it's very odd saying Dodgers, Marlins, and White Sox all together when talking about attendance, but there they are. D-backs up 643 per game for the season. That is great news. A drop in attendance would have been expected. 2023 was their unexpected World Series appearance. So in 2024, the D-backs led all 30 MLB teams in increased attendance. It did not drop off this year. Arizona has always had trouble filling up the seats, but it looks like that may be changing for good now. Angels up 400 per game. I don't know how long that's going to last. Losing seasons and high attendance can't coexist forever. Phillies up just 145 per game. They're at near full capacity, can't go much higher. That's 17 out of 30 MLB teams with increased attendance in 2025. And now the 13 teams in the red. Surprisingly, the first 2 teams we see are postseason teams. Mariners down 219 per game, Guardians down 378. But remember, as I said with the Jays and Brewers, a late season turnaround isn't going to fix a whole season worth of bad attendance, especially with the Guardians. But those are the kind of teams that will see a surge at the gate to start out next season. Nationals down 600, Astros and Braves down more than 1,300. 2 teams used to regular postseason appearances, but that ended this year. Rockies down 1,600. That's a warning to the Angels. When you have a losing team year after year, even the most loyal fans run out of patience. Athletics down about 1,900. Twins and Pirates down more than 2,000 per game. Rangers down more than 3,000. Not as bad as it seems, really. Rangers' attendance was unusually high last year, following their World Series title in 2023. Orioles down almost 6,000 per game. A postseason team last year, they struggled from opening day this year. Sometimes it takes fans a while to get the message, and attendance doesn't drop till late in the season, or even the next season. Not the case in Baltimore. Their fans reacted right away. Rays, we already talked about their situation. Cardinals, biggest drop in attendance of any MLB team, averaging 7,754 fewer fans per game in 2025 compared with last year. A fan base that's used to winning is experiencing some rough times, and they've reacted in a big way. The team needs to show some attempt at improving this team in the offseason. The longer this goes on, the harder it'll be to get the fans back. Teams we can expect a big gain in attendance from in 2026. Rays, because they'll be in a larger ballpark. Mariners, Guardians, Jays, and Brewers, because of how strong they finished the season. The rest, don't know. It depends what they do in the offseason. As we saw this year, fans react to what they see as an effort or lack of effort in putting a winning team on the field. The Mets appeared to be making a big effort, so the fans showed up in droves. The Cards appeared to be doing the opposite, and the crowd stayed away. And I know there wasn't a big difference between those two teams in the final standings, but fans don't know in April what's going to happen in September. It's all about what they think is going to happen. Anyway, that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.